What is going on, guys? Welcome to your 7th Cocos2D tutorial, and in this tutorial, as promised, we're going to be going over scenes. So let me start out and tell you guys what the heck a scene is, and I'll tell you guys by giving you an example. Whenever you first open your game, you might see a little movie that plays, an introduction if you will. This would be a scene. So, you watch your introduction, and it takes you to a menu after that, and the menu is how to play, play now, and maybe another thing. So this would be a separate scene. So you click play now and it takes you to the actual game. The actual game would be a separate scene. So that's 3 scenes right there. So you can see quickly how a different project or app would be composed of many different scenes. So since you use many different scenes when creating a game, it would be pretty useful to learn how to actually make these different scenes. Now by default in your project you have one scene right there, and that's the hello world scene. It pops up hello world on the screen, but you can change it to anything you want. But as I was saying, we need a way to learn how to create different scenes. And this is one of the problems with the Cocos2D documentation. There isn't really any good documentation anywhere on the internet that pretty much just tells you how to create a basic scene. There's only like tutorials on transitions and weird stuff like this. So what I did for you guys is I'm making this tutorial just to cover how to create a basic scene. So this is one thing that's missing from Cocos2D documentation. You probably can't find it anywhere else on the internet. So guys, you're welcome. So with that being said, let's get down to the tutorial. We already have one scene. It's pretty much just a menu on the screen. So let's go ahead and create another blank scene. To do that, here's what you need to do. Highlight classes right here, right click it, and press add new file. Now we're going to want to add a Cocos2D template, a CC node class, and make sure that this class is a subclass of CC layer. Very important, don't miss that. Now go ahead and hit next, and you can name this file anything you want. I'm going to name mine ham and move this up and create it. So now I have ham h and ham m, and it pretty much looks like a basic Objective-C file, except that you're importing from Cocos2D.h. So if you accidentally, create a Objective-C class, make sure you import from Cocos2D and make sure you subclass from CC layer. You'll be fine. Now, there we go. In the header file, we only need to write one thing, and that's this: plus ID scene, semicolon, of course. Now in your implementation, we need to implement this method. Now we could go ahead and code it, but there's a lot easier way to do this. Go ahead and let's steal it from the hello world implementation right here. Go ahead and copy this, copy, and yeah, we're stealing this. So in your implementation, right between implementation and end, paste that, and let's give it some space. So this looks fine and dandy, but there's one thing we have to change on it. Let me move this around. In this hello world layer, we need to change this to ham, or whatever you named your class. Ham, just like that. And that's all we need to do for this method. So go ahead and steal your implementation from another scene and just change those 2 little words, and bam, you're good to go. How sweet is that? So in order to finish off this class, that sounded kind of deadly, like finish you off. But in order to finish this scene, what we need to do is we need to steal one more method, this init method right here. So go ahead and copy this. Pretty much it's just basically stealing stuff from other classes. It doesn't sound too nice, but that's life. So command paste, and you have your init method stolen. So let me show you guys what's at the meat of this. Go ahead and delete everything in your if block too. So pretty much you end up with this once you delete all the comments and all the crap to make that menu. It's init, and then you have an if statement that says if self is equal to super init, and then you return self. So that's the only method you need. And for now I'm just going to leave this scene blank, but again, if you want to create anything in it, just type it in here. So with that being said, what we want to do now is we want to go back to this hello world scene implementation, and what we want to do is instead of having this button do nothing, let's go ahead and build and run this so you can see. Make sure we don't got any errors. Alright, instead of having this button just click it and do nothing, what we want to do is be able to click it and have it take us to that other blank scene we just created. So go ahead and exit out of your iPhone stimulator, and in this code, this code, here's what you need to do. CC director. By the way, the director is the thing that changes scenes for you. How appropriately named. Shared director, and we want this director to replace scene, and we want him to do this using a cool transition. CC zoom flip X transition. Let me move this over, and transition with duration. This means how long do you want your transition to last. Just go ahead and type in whoa transition with duration 1, and the parameter I just accidentally deleted is scene, and this is, let me just go ahead and type this in, it isn't really cooperating, ham space node. Dang it, there we go. Alright, so of course these parameters are this. We want our director, because that's a singleton, or that's an object that takes care of our scenes for us. We want him to replace a scene, and how do we want him to do it? We want him to use a cool transition. We want it to take 1 second long. And what do we want for our new scene? That ham node that we just created. And of course, end it with a semicolon. And now let's go ahead, and the last thing we need to do is import this ham class. So import ham.h, so when it comes across, mother fudger, there we go. So when it comes across this right here, it knows what we're talking about. So go ahead, build and run this, save, and succeeded. So now check this out. Whenever we press our button, it does this cool little flip, and it takes us to a blank screen. So, you know, this blank screen is actually our new ham scene. So what I'm going to do actually is change this tutorial up a bit. I'm actually going to go to this ham implementation and add, you know what I can do? Just go ahead and steal this menu right here. So, you know, instead of just flipping to black, because that's kind of boring, go ahead and paste this. And let's go ahead and change a few things. First of all, let's add the image of the pizza. So get rid of target, get rid of all this stuff. Target and selector. Oh, we can leave that there. This is really being really difficult for me right now. So anyways, in your ham.m, just go ahead and put, what's my other file name? Ham.ping and ham.ping. All I'm doing right now is basically just adding a picture in the next scene. So instead of just blank black screen, it actually has something in it. So now let's go ahead. Hopefully I didn't mess anything up, or else I'm going to be PO'd. Alright, so here's our program. Here's scene number 1. When we click it, it flips to scene number 2. And of course, scene number 2, we didn't add any functionality to this. We just have a blank pizza on the screen. So that is the basics of how you transition from one scene to another scene using a menu with a button in it. And you typically, instead of a guy getting hit in the face with a soccer ball, you want to create an actual button. And typically, instead of a piece of pizza, you actually want to create a game. But you know, for now, I think we learned quite a bit. So in the next tutorial, we'll be going over that creating a game stuff. But for now, I'm just going to look at this pizza and enjoy it. So thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you understood this. If you didn't, I'm going to be posting step by step in my forum. I'll post the link below. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to check out my forum. Yeah, see you next time.